Well, hello there. We are back in the art room, and I had a wonderful response to a video a couple weeks ago, or last week, 2 weeks ago, and I was talking about brushing clothes, and I wanted to give you an update. We're going to put the apron on because I forgot that the first time, and I had somebody remark on it, and that'll protect my house dress from the dust and grime. Yay! Thanks for aprons, right? Okay, so couple things that I didn't go over the first time that I wanted to make sure I went over the second time. First off is Everclear, and I put it in a spray bottle. I don't mix it with water, it's just Everclear. The other tool that I use is vinegar, just vinegar in a spray bottle. They have two different types of tops, so I can tell them apart at easy glance, but I also have them labeled. Important. The other thing I use is baking soda. Yay! I usually use a spoon and a bowl when I want to make my baking soda paste. The other thing that I use two different kinds of brushes. I have a stiff bristle brush. You can see it. It's really stiff. Okay. And this one I got at an antique store for $9. Still has the embroidery in it. I use it. This is a cellulite brush, and it's soft. Can you see the difference? So hard and soft, okay? I use them both. The other thing I use is a stiff boar bristle brush, okay? I do use all three things in my cleaning. Okay, so I'm gonna start with corset because I was on a forum the other day and somebody said or asked, hey, how do I clean my corset? And I went, and everybody was like, oh, you soak it in soap and you do all these things. No, don't do that. So if you're wearing an undergarment, like linen or cotton or even a cami, your body should be soaking up most of those oils into that undergarment. Your corset may stain or may have layers of sweat and stuff that get into it. So there's a couple things that you can do. The first thing you can do, which I tell everybody, this is my orchard corset, so I have two different ones. I have one that I had made, which I don't wear as much, honestly. I wear this one because it's seasoned. You take this and you liberally spray it with Everclear, and I mean liberally. So I really spray it on here. It's pretty wet, okay? That's liberal. That's what I mean by liberally spray, okay? And then you let it dry. That'll kill all the bacteria that's on your skin that has absorbed and is trying to grow in your garment. It'll keep it from breaking down, okay? So the second thing is, say this is my dry side and I've got stains on it. Now mine's black, so it's not gonna stain. Okay, so here's my corset, and we're going to say that I've sprayed it, I've let it dry. So I know that there's no bacteria left in my corset. But what I want to do is I want to remove a stain. So I'm going to take a little bit of vinegar. I'm going to put just a bit in here. So anybody know, having worked with vinegar and baking soda before, it has a chemical effect. And it's going to bubble. See that? And I'm going to put that on my corset and I'm going to rub it in. Okay, I'm going to rub it in with my spoon. Okay. Now, I don't have a stain on this, okay? So I'm just showing you how you do it, okay? So I've scrubbed in that stain. I'm going to take a little bit of vinegar, spray it again. So I'm going to take a rag and I'm going to wipe it and just scrub really good. Whatever the stain was, it should come right out. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to show you this again when I use it on a skirt that does have a stain. So this is what I do for my corsets, and I hang them on a hanger. I hang them on a hanger, just like this, and I let them dry. Okay, so the strings are okay to hang this way. You don't want to hang your corset over this, like this, because it's going to warp the shape of the seasoning of your corset and it's going to stretch your fabric wrong. So you want to make sure to hang it over this way and let it hang free. You can see that mine is turned and twisted because I have seasoned it to my body. So it's to my body shape, okay? Okay, so we've done a corset. Now we're going to look at a bodice. Now, I wore this bodice all day today. So even wearing a linen undergarment, a chemise underneath my corset, and a corset cover, your body still sweats, right? So what I do, because I'm not going to wash it for probably a couple more wearings, just like what they would in time period. I'm opening up the armpit, I'm smelling, using my Everclear, and I'm saturating it. And I mean saturating it. Okay? So it's wet. It's really wet. And it's wet all the way down in here. Okay? I'm going to do that again on the other side. And that's going to kill any bacteria and any odors that have collected on it today when I was wearing it. And I was running like a crazy person today. So that's the big thing. The other thing that I do, because I've turned it inside out to do that, but I also want to check the garment for any kind of stains from today. Because you can spot clean the stains between wearings. You don't, or between washings. You don't have to wash the whole thing to get one little thing out. So I'm going to check it. And I'm looking here to make sure, and this also helps you check mending. So it looks like my shoulder's kind of coming off here, so I'm going to have to look at a mending when it dries. I clip any threads because I'm notorious for missing threads when I sew. And I'm just checking to see, so this has a long tail, so I sit on it. So I'm checking to see if there's anything I sat on that I probably shouldn't have sat on. And that looks pretty good. It doesn't look like I've acquired any stains or dropped my food down my front. So we're good. And I put that on a hanger. So I put it on a hanger to dry inside out where it hangs free. So that's my bodice. That's what I wore all day today. And I have cleaned that, right? Cleaned it. And I will wear that again next week. I probably won't wash that for probably at least three more wearings. I generally wash my bodices, if I've been somewhere really dirty and it's not a spot clean and I sweat a lot. So a really, really hot day, really hot sweaty day, I may Everclear it in between maybe 2 wearings or 3. But right now it's not really hot. It's pretty cool outside. I didn't really sweat a lot. I mean, you can smell my body like on it, but it's not too bad. So I'm just going to Everclear it. And before I wear it again, I'll smell it. Now, if it still has that underarm smell, probably ready for washing. But generally speaking, and I'm menopausal, postmenopausal, so I sweat a lot at weird times. And so I can still usually get 5 or 6, 7, even 8 wearings out of it before I have to wash it. And I can just throw it in the washing machine under a gentle cycle. Okay? So that's what I do in between for my bodices. Now we're going to work on skirts, because skirts were the fun part last time too. So I'm going to move some things here. I'm going to change the angle of the camera so you can see what's on the table as I work. So this is the skirt I wore today. Okay, it's my blue one. And I really want to focus more on the bottom of the skirt. And I really brush the inside of this one because as you can see, it's not interlined. It just has a big hem. Right here is where the hem ends, the kick plate, but it's not interlined. So it's a lighter weight fabric, and I know that it has a tendency, and I'm brushing this way because I really don't want to brush on myself. I really make sure I brush all the way around the hem. And I check the hem because today I was in and out of some construction zones and I know it's really dusty. Whoo, I can see that dust going off. Okay. So if I were doing this where I wasn't on camera, I have a whole table here and I would use the whole table. But I don't, so I'm just gonna do it this way. So I brush the inside first most of the time. Now I can already see that I've got some brown stuff on the outside, so I'm just kind of paying attention to that because I know I'm going to come back around on the outside. Yeah, it's dusty. I was in and out of some construction today, so it picked up quite a bit of dust. I know that's not exactly easy to see on the camera. And I'm really brushing the kick plate. I'm not too worried up above because most of the time, unless I'm in mud, the kick plate really picks up most of the dust and stuff. Because I have a petticoat that comes all the way down past the kick plate. And the petticoat will pick stuff up too. And that I just throw in the wash. Because all my petticoats are washable cotton. And you just give it a really good brush. The nice thing is that over time, some of the fabrics that you choose to make things out of, especially like these cottons, they'll get a little bit of a sheen because you've brushed them over and over and over again. Excuse me, that's the dust that's coming off that skirt. Woo! Okay, so now I'm gonna do the outside. Whew, yeah, that's really bad. Now I'm using the stiff bristle brush, okay? Because this is pretty intense dust that's on the skirt. And if you're afraid of missing a spot, you can always like use a safety pin, which I've done before. You safety pin where you started so you don't brush 5 million times. But I can see it, so I'm not worried about it. I can see where the dust is, and I know that I want to get that off. There we go. I'm also not planning on editing this video a whole lot, so I apologize if you don't like it. There we go. That's the end of that. Okay, so I do the same thing with my skirt that I do with my bodice. I'm gonna check to see if I have any stains or spills. Sometimes I'll use the soft bristle on this one, just up top, because, you know, you do get maybe a little bit of other dust. Brush away, make sure you're getting it off the fabric if you're brushing. Sometimes you sit in something you shouldn't. So check where your seat is. I'm just gonna brush it a little bit here. Yeah, it's not very dusty. I'm not seeing any dust come off of it. And then that is ready to hang. And I like to hang my skirts where, see where that pleating is in the back? I fold it where my front is flat and my pleating's in the back. So when I fold it over the hanger, it doesn't wrinkle the front. Okay, so the other skirt I know has a stain on it, or a spot. It's my black one. Black is usually a little hard, but this black has a sheen to it. You should be able to see that spot. See that? So I'm going to take some of my, get some more baking soda. Not put my wet spoon in the baking soda. I still have a little bit of vinegar in there. I'll put a little bit of that on there. And that's where this brush comes into play. And there it goes. And see where all that confetti is? All that stuff? I'm just going to brush that off. but I'm going to use my stiffer bristle brush to do that. And then I'm just brushing that off. And that stain, that spot is gone. See? It's all gone. Now you can see the wet spot, but the stain itself is gone. Now, that's it. And I've already brushed this skirt the other day because I wore it the other day. So there's that. So hopefully y'all learned a lot, and this gives you some tools. This is literally what I do every day. I take my skirts off, I brush them, I hang them up. I spray my bodices, and onward I go. I spray my corset, and that's it. And then I come home and I dress down to my day dress, which I'm wearing my day dress now. I'm wearing a black cami underneath. And that is what I do. I just worked a 10-hour shift, and that's how I take care of my clothes. And you've seen me in my dressing videos, so this is my life. This is what I do. I use these. These are tools for me. And I do use this one for a lot of the scrubbing of the stuff, or if I have a really dirty, like muddy hem, I'll use this one. I don't use these on those as much. I'm a little bit more careful with my antiques, but I do use them. So they're not just antiques to sit on a shelf. I use them, but I do use this one for more of the dirty stuff. It's got black bristles. It's easy to clean. Yeah, that's it. So hopefully you learned something, and hopefully this adds to the last video so you can go, aha, that's what she meant, because the sound was terrible on the last one, and I apologize. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you another time in the art room, and thank you for joining me. Editing self loves it when I do this. It smells like I wore it all day today too. Even with a camisole and a